Here's your daily reminder that the Democrat Party and woke corporations think black people and brown people are too stupid or too helpless to have a photo ID to vote. Hello once again, all my fellow patriots and you filthy leftist stalkers out there. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Angela Box. You're watching Angela's Soapbox, where I always say what you were thinking. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, liking or rumbling this video, commenting on this video, and of course sharing this video, especially with your filthy leftist friends, because they truly hate my guts, and for me that's a badge of honor. Guys, what the hell is going on with Dan Crenshaw? Okay? Now, as someone who lives in Texas, let me dispense with the serial killing plastic straw. It's going to Eyepatch McCain, or as someone now has, I think, more accurately said, he's like worse than McCain. He's like Alexander Vindman, like with all this Ukraine money that we find out he's getting. So let's discuss it, shall we? All right. So, fun fact: I was at a Remembrance Project event, a luncheon, a pretty small luncheon, before Dan Crenshaw was elected. So I want to say maybe 2016. I think it was the year that Trump was elected that Crenshaw got into Congress. So I was at a Remembrance Project event in Houston at the Junior League with Maria Espinoza, who started the Remembrance Project and the Stolen Lives quilt. And Maria, rightfully so, gets credit for basically opening Trump's eyes to what illegal immigration has done to this country, certainly with the human toll it's taken with people who've lost their lives and family members who've lost their lives, et cetera, and really opened Trump's eyes to that. So kudos to Maria Espinoza and the Remembrance Project. But Dan Crenshaw, before he was in Congress, came to speak at this event that I was at. And it was probably like 25 people at this luncheon. It was relatively small. A lot of Angel moms spoke, a lot of Angel family members spoke, and Dan Crenshaw spoke. And I was like, wow, this guy's going to be great in Congress. Like, he was very, very compassionate, very empathetic towards the human toll that illegal immigration causes. And he was like really on it. Like, this is going to be a big issue for him. He's going to be an ally to Maria Espinoza and people who want the border secure. And he's going to be an ally to President Trump. Like, all the things, right? All the good things that we wanted Dan Crenshaw to do. All right, now, obviously, something is really going on with Dan Crenshaw. Once he got into Congress, completely just flipped. I don't know what happens to these people. I don't know how they're same thing happened with Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson was wanting to audit where all this Ukraine money was going, and he wanted to find out why we're sending all this money, and then he becomes Speaker of the House, and then he takes a meeting with Mitch McConnell, and he comes out of that meeting like being a Ukraine hawk. It's weird, okay? Like, I don't know what these people have on our elected officials, but it must be something. So Dan Crenshaw, we come to find out, very anti-MAGA, basically thinks the Freedom Caucus is a bunch of turds, for lack of a better word, has come out really hard against the MAGA wing of the Republican Party, is a total Ukraine simp, okay? Like, just wants to give money hand over fist to Ukraine, doesn't really care about securing our border. And again, the public meltdowns he's been having recently just really have people scratching their heads. I've said this, after he got in there, and we saw quickly that he basically was John McCain Jr. It's like, this guy's not good. It's not good. And, unfortunately, his district is such that it's a very red district. He's not going to lose the race to a Democrat. The only way we get rid of Dan Crenshaw is if he has a serious primary contender. And so far, there's not been a well-funded contender. A guy named Jamison Ellis, who's great, has run twice. He got very close last time. Relatively close in the primary last time. He got 42%. The first time he ran, he got like 18%. So, Dan Crenshaw's days are numbered. And again, if we can get a primary challenger that is going to be able to put up enough money and a defense against Dan Crenshaw's massive fundraising and massive uniparty support, like, his days will be numbered. But recently, over the last few days, Dan Crenshaw has gotten in a really weird Twitter fight, for lack of a better word, with this account called Cat Turd, which you should be following. And Dan Crenshaw's like come out really hard against Cat Turd, because I guess Cat Turd has been posting his FEC filings, and it's like, how is this guy worth like millions and millions of dollars now, when he went into Congress he wasn't worth anything? And it comes to find out now, I'm giving this as a caveat. I do not know where this account, this Josh Dunlap account, got these numbers. But, you know, on this account, or on this list of people, like the people who are getting money, kickbacks from Ukraine, it's a lot of people, guys. And it's some of the good people, like Rick Scott's on that list, unfortunately. But people that you would expect, like Dan Crenshaw and Mitt Romney, and, you know, a bunch of Democrats, whatever. Like Mitch McConnell's on there, Lindsey Graham's on there. People that you would be like, oh, of course. Like when you hear them shilling for Ukraine, and then you see that they're getting all this money, it's like, well, okay, this makes sense. So anyway, Dan Crenshaw's like having a meltdown, threatening to sue Cat Turd for basically putting up factual posts about him. And it's like, dude, this is not a good look. Couple that with, we know that Dan Crenshaw sat on the board of the World Economic Forum Youth Leader Summit. And then once that came out, and of course, World Economic Forum, big George Soros affiliated group, people like that. Once that came out, World Economic Forum like took his name off, because they're like, uh-oh, people are figuring this out. Like, this guy's dirty, okay? Like, I don't know exactly how he's dirty. I just know that he is. And I think, again, this is another instance of methinks the lady doth protest too much. Because like Jay-Z having a meltdown over Tony Busby, I think Dan Crenshaw, you know, having a meltdown over Cat Turd's accounts, like, there's something to this. So, look, Dan Crenshaw's days in Congress are numbered. They just are. Like, MAGA is like, we're not playing this time. Like, there will be a viable primary challenge to Dan Crenshaw in 2026, and Dan Crenshaw will be gone. I'm sorry, it will happen. Like, unless Dan Crenshaw decides to quit Congress, he's going to get primaried, and it's going to be a successful primary challenger. Now, here's the rub, okay? Because now they smell blood in the water for Dan Crenshaw, and people are like, all right, this guy needs to go. The problem is that we're going to have people like Jamison Ellis and smaller candidates kind of try and go against him. And what will probably end up happening, unless the smaller candidates drop out and everyone coalesces around one person who can get funded and who can get that Trump endorsement, Dan Crenshaw will get through, because it's going to be a situation where there's going to be too many small people, and Dan Crenshaw will end up getting the majority anyway. So I really urge smaller candidates, if you're thinking about throwing your hat in the ring again, you need to think more big picture here. Think about how we can better get rid of Dan Crenshaw. And the way we get rid of Dan Crenshaw is we have someone, a challenger who is well-funded, who has that Trump endorsement, who is MAGA all the way. And there's a few names being floated right now. Again, a lot of chum in the water here. But Dan Crenshaw will continue to keep winning if we don't have a primary challenger that's well-funded, or there are too many primary challengers. So keep that in mind, people that want to come for Dan Crenshaw's crown, because he's not stupid. Like, he knows how he keeps winning elections, because he keeps getting through the primary. So I think Dan Crenshaw, if we can get a good primary challenger, he's toast. Like, there are too many things that are just not sitting well with MAGA, okay? And, you know, the fact that he hates MAGA, the fact that he basically hates Trump, and he's just an overall a-hole. Like, that's the vibe that Dan Crenshaw gives off. Like, this is not the Dan Crenshaw that I saw speaking at the Remembrance Project in 2016 before he was elected in front of a very small group. Like, this is a very arrogant, different Dan Crenshaw. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens to him in the next couple of years. But eyes open. Dan Crenshaw, your days in Congress are numbered. All right, that's going to leave this video. Let me know what you think down below, and I will see you in the next one that will be done. Bye.